Hey guys, welcome back to Progressive Watch. So now that we know Bernie Sanders will make his decision in March on whether he will run for the presidency or not, let's break down Bernie Sanders' 12-point economic plan. Now to front load you guys with a little bit of information, Bernie Sanders has constantly said that America's government is controlled by an oligarchy in which a handful of billionaires control the government. This being said, his 12-point economic plan directly corresponds to overthrow this oligarchy and restore American democracy. That being said, Bernie Sanders' first point is to improve America's infrastructure. To improve this, he would invest in public work projects, such as building roads, schools, bridges, sewage systems, and all that kind. This is good because it creates more jobs throughout America and stimulates the economy. By having more people at work, you have more people that can buy goods, which then forces companies to hire more employees to make more goods for the people. This overall creates a cycle of economic improvement, which is very good for the short term of America. Again, we were given a D rating for our infrastructure, and it is a necessity that we invest in infrastructure before our water is infested with sewage. Moving on. His second point is that he would like to transform our energy systems away from fossil fuels. This is a fantastic thing because fossil fuels are unsustainable, and over the long term, if we don't invest in this, we literally will not have a fuel source to turn to. Second off, fossil fuels destroy the homeostasis within our environment, which would make our environment over the long term, if we did not invest in this, unsustainable for us to live upon. That being said, the third point that Bernie Sanders has within his economic platform is that he would like to develop new economic models that focus on helping the middle class and lower classes and take away tax breaks from the rich and corporate interests. This is a very good model because just as last year in 2013, 7 of our 30 largest corporations paid negative 2.5% in taxes. This means that they were given $760 million in subsidies through the government and paid nothing back in taxes. This is a very bad economic model because it means we have to take more from the poor middle class, and this is overall not beneficial because these Americans do not have as much money as the rich would, which creates a deficit, and we have to cut away programs from the poor and middle class, a very bad cycle for them. The next point that Bernie Sanders proposes is that he would like to make it easier for workers to join unions. This is fantastic because unions give the edge to the workers so that they can try to get more benefits for them, such as a higher wage, medical benefits, and overall shorter work weeks for them. This is very beneficial because it improves the morale, it lowers the turnover rate, and it improves the economy because when more people have to spend, they can spend it on the economy. When they spend it on the economy, this is stimulating it, and it's a nice cycle that improves throughout our system. The fifth point that Bernie Sanders would like to make is he would like to raise the minimum wage from $7.25. As in 1968, our minimum wage adjusted for inflation today was $10.10. If we were to raise it to, let's say, $12, that would only be an 11% increase. That's not too much, being that the worker productivity has increased 115% since 1968. So it would be a fantastic measure. These people need to increase this. The minimum wage was originally put in place because the average price of goods comes up, and we need a base wage so that people are not priced out of their basic necessities. Well, as stipulated here, people are being priced out of their necessities because the minimum wage has not risen, but the prices for inflation has. So it is a necessity for us to raise the minimum wage. Next point that Bernie Sanders likes to bring up is that he would like to have equal pay for women. This is fantastic because women are currently paid 70 cents on the dollar for a male currently. This is overall can be beneficial for women, and it can improve their morale. Moving on to the next point that Bernie Sanders brings up is that he would like to reform trade policies. Now, when we talk about NATO and when we talk about NAFTA and other free trade agreements, we should refer to them as another term that would be outsourcing, because ever since we've invested in trade unions, they have led to an outsourcing of hundreds of thousands of jobs from the United States to countries such as Bangladesh, Vietnam, and other countries. This has hindered our middle class and has lost us thousands of dollars from our median income for average American employees. Second of all, this has destroyed the agricultural societies of other countries such as Mexico and such as Guatemala. Because the United States is able to subsidize our markets, we're able to sell our prices cheaper than, let's say, Mexico, who does not have a strong does not have strong enough gains to give subsidies for these workers. So farmers in Mexico are priced out and they are not able to survive, thus forcing them to go to America and work on the migrant farms. This one increases our immigrant population and puts more strain on our government, but second of all, it destroys the economy of these developing nations and leaves them more susceptible to corrupt actions. If we're able to price this out, we can allow these developing countries to settle out and we can hopefully level out corruption in these areas. Moving on to Bernie Sanders' next point, he would like to make college more affordable. As stipulated, the rise of college is going up increasingly, and the unemployment is as well. These correlative effects make it less likely for children to go to college, and it makes it more likely for them to be stumped in debt for a very long period of time. If they are stumped in debt in this, then we fall behind other nations such as Germany, who has already made their cost of college free for not only their students, but for international students as well, including Americans. If we don't improve upon this, we will not have strong structural middle-class jobs for college degree people, because there will be no purpose for them to do this because it'll be too expensive and they'll be priced out. Moving on to the next point of Bernie Sanders, is that he would like to break up the big banks. Now, the banks already have so much money and so much control and so much power that what they're able to do is dictate to Congress and other entities what should be the legislation passed, such as financially easing legislation. If we're able to break up these banks, they won't have as much power on their own, and we will be less likely to be susceptible from the corporate. They will not less susceptible to invest in the finances to propel Congress to make actions towards them, which is very good because Congress without legislation will just invest in greedy things that will overall be bad for Americans, because they will risk American wages on themselves if they know they will not be harmed in the process. The next point that Bernie Sanders points out is that he would like to have a Medicare for all system. I slightly disagree with him on this point. I don't think we need a Medicare for all system. Sweden does not have a Medicare for all system. They have private organizations that work on the system. That's not the real issue. The issue here is the pharmaceutical companies charging the price for which these medical companies can give to their employees and to these people. What we should do, like what Sweden has already done, is they have told the pharmaceutical companies at what price they will buy the drugs from, and then the pharmaceutical companies can then decide to sell them in Sweden or not sell them within Sweden. The pharmaceutical companies have thus decided to sell them within Sweden, and American pharmaceutical companies, we would find pharmaceutical companies to do the same thing within the United States. This would, one, lower the wages, this would lower the price for all healthcare throughout the United States, and second of all, it would be able to raise the standards for the healthcare that we could have, because we would have more money that people could then use in other special programs. The next point that Bernie Sanders brings up is that he would like to expand Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and nutrition programs. The United States has a severe obesity problem, and we are certainly in necessity for us to invest in people so that we do not have more people dying of cardiac arrest, cancer, and other diseases because of severe obesity. Second of all, Medicare and Medicaid are basic standards. Currently in the United States, we have 64,000 people dying each year because they don't have access to basic health care. We do need to invest in this so that people do not die. It should be a fundamental basic right throughout the United States. And last of all, he would like to reform the tax code based upon wage earners' ability to pay and eliminate loopholes that destroy corporate profit. As I stipulated earlier, 7 of the 30 corporations did not pay taxes last year, and this is because actually paid negative 2.6% in taxes, and this is because they're able to find loopholes in the system. In addition, Facebook did not pay any taxes at all and did not pay a nickel in federal or state taxes. And this is because they were able to find loopholes in our system. If we're able to eliminate this, we will have direct funding from these large corporations, which we can then give layoffs or breaks to middle class and lower class people. This is very good for our economy because then they can go invest in other avenues, and when they invest in other avenues, they buy more stuff. This forces the corporation to hire more employees to make these more goods, which then allows these people to go buy stuff, and it's a nice cycle, or nice revolving cycle throughout the United States of economic stimulation. Thank you. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you could like or subscribe in this video if you thought it was helpful. Thank you.